Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Seercast. This is episode number 69, and we are talking today about a little bit of the stuff in April, and most of the stuff in May, and the June BTS. So with me today we have Runic.
With blood and rage of crimson red, ripped from a dreadnib, so freshly dead, together with my hellish hate, will stun you all, that is your fate.
Rip.
What?
That's well done, though.
What?
Did you steal that from Reddit?
No,
Reddit, please go.
I may have low-key stole it from DC Comics, but...
I knew it!
It's
so
fine.
Reddit.
It's fine. I see no problem here. Anyways, Lime.
Everything is a repost.
Lime.
That was my intro, by the way.
Oh,
Everything is a repost.
Okay.
This sentence was a repost.
Fair enough. Kitten.
Daily reminder that it's podcast 69 because you told us not to say it was.
God damn it, Kitten.
We were going so well.
We were going so... We got past Runic.
It was going too well for my liking.
I was like, yes, we've got this.
Alright,
Nope.
now we gotta
I was
over.
low-key snickering in the back when you
Yeah, I heard,
said
and I was like,
69.
No, it's
I was
fine.
like, don't you do that.
It's fine, whatever. Gina?
I'm just going to keep things simple and try to punch the Seerderb out of everybody again.
That's fair. And Walter is here in the chat. So, briefly, since we talked about River of Blood extensively last month with Rowley and Stu, so if you didn't watch that, go do it, because it was great.
Yeah, pause.
Yeah, that
Pause
was
the video.
maybe top 3 Seercasts that we've ever done, because it was succinct, to the point, and we got some good information. It was great talking to them. So, yeah, go watch that. But there's a few other things that happened last month that we should probably at least mention. We'll start with the Lost Toys event. So there's 13 possessed plushies around Mauritania. I think it was a vampire, right? Lex. Lex was a vampire.
Yes, Lex.
He provides clues to their locations, but some of them are...
Well, Lex was a little boy, but he was Lord Jovkai in disguise.
Right, yes. Right,
Yeah.
right. He was... Yeah. But
Yes.
yeah, he provides clues to their location. Some of them are really difficult to find. Really difficult.
Yeah, they were.
Because they're they're like the color of the tree, and they're hidden on the tree. It's not like there's a red spot on the ground or something that's like, okay, I see it, it's right over there. No, it's like in the tree. Yeah, it was
It was a little bit challenging, yeah.
But
But it was fun to do. We got all sorts of really, really creepy sound effects.
Oh, they were great.
They recorded. They used the dialogue of JMods themselves. Apparently, they tried Raven, Stu, Rowley, and Mosborn, but found that Stu's, when altered some way, was the creepiest sounding. So they used Stu's voice
For everything.
for all of them. It's
Because Stu's the creepiest. And he's also doing Halloween this year, so that's great.
great. Yeah, yep.
Oh god.
Of course, that's gonna be in the Eastern lands, most likely, maybe.
Yeah, but that's like a whole other podcast, man.
that is a very, very another podcast. But
It's like a first look and a podcast and everything.
Yep.
7 videos or something.
God, jeez. Yeah. But yeah. So the player character is aware that Lex is a vampire, but does it anyway. But yeah. And then he goes, and you actually see him in Lord of Vampirium when you decide to help him. Yeah, you saw him in Lord of Vampirium when you helped him decide which of his 4 tithes he should feed off of. So that was a little bit like,
The return of characters, yeah.
yeah,
At least we got to see him again.
he's a weirdo. It's okay.
Yeah. We also did Memorial to the Marquis. That was another one of the events. We talked about that a little bit on the previous Seercast. Yeah, I know. I say it Marquis. It's Myrique. I'm sorry. I don't have.
We all have different pronunciations for it. I say Myrique. They say Myreki. You say Myrq. That's the weirdest one of the
I
bunch.
say Myrq as well.
Well, you both.
But it's
are weird.
okay. The series is over. We don't need to
Watch
try
as a
anymore.
Meyer-
That's
He-
true. The series is over.
Aww.
We need a
All
function
were
to put the
dead.
chat. Yeah, we need a function to put the chat in the video, 'cause that's just funny. Every time we get called out for saying something stupid, we just call each other out for saying dumb things.
I mean, we all say dumb things all the time, so the chat's usually
Yeah.
pretty full.
For me,
Yeah.
most of the things I say is dumb.
And it's either one of us saying dumb things or Walter is yelling at us for not saying something. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, yeah, but we talked a little bit about the memorial to the Myrique last time. It requires the completion of Lord of Vampirium to start. You help Veliav gather materials to construct monuments to each of the 10 fallen heroes. Safalan is alive, but you can't tell him that until after you've completed all the other 10. And doing so will cause Veliav to go to the roof to be with his rather word friend.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Walter, please. But yeah, each...
That was just bad. That
There are
being
puns
said,
in here, we're just reading over them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, each statue gives you a bunch of construction XP. You can get an extra bunch if you did it during the month of April, etc.
it was one of the early bird bonus things.
Yep. And then they also added Ravenous Ghouls, which were added to be the most reliable dropper of congealed blood, which is used in the rewards of River of Blood. So,
Yeah. You use them in the blood urns.
yep. Are those actually, since that's been out for a
Blood
month,
essences.
are those useful?
Um,
Do people really
Barely.
use them? Barely?
We barely.
talked about they are a cheaper option, but most of them are derivative of auras.
Weren't they
And we talked
screenshots?
about them a lot in the previous cast.
I don't think we talked about them a lot. We talked about them a little bit, but whatever.
If I remember correctly, a few of them are okay. Most of them are just tragically underpowered.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's just a cheaper option.
All right, but yeah, so that's that. That's what. Unless somebody wants to mention anything else about April, that happened last month, so we're gonna move on.
And we didn't really get a chance to talk about it because exams, and they're always in the way.
Yeah, exams happened, and then really we would have talked about it in the River of Blood quest, in the River of Blood podcast, but the J-mods were on, so they get priority.
They were great.
They were great. Go
So
watch
we're
it.
sorry about that.
Go watch it again. Anyways, but yeah, so we have for May we have the month-long event, which is Mega May, which is basically the equivalent of the past 2 May events. This time we have Meg doing things, so it's basically Meg May.
Yeah.
She has.
Well, there were all sorts of Mega May like weekend events. Like
Oh, yeah, those
I've been
things I
doing
guess,
some.
too.
There's some conquest things. This particular one is minigame weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Livid Farm. You get double produce points. In Conquest, you get double points. In Pest Control, all that kind of stuff. You get double points.
Oh,
you get
that's what
extra,
Joe
all
Cerny
sorts
was
of bonuses.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you want to do Livid Farm, this is the weekend to do it,
Yeah.
or the next time they do this promotion. There was also the Skiller weekend. There was a Slayer weekend, a Bosser, like all sorts of stuff. You just get bonuses for doing all sorts of activities in the game,
Yep.
and they were fun.
Yep. But yeah, so those are the weekends that came along with Mega May. Meg decides that she wants to be a private investigator because that could not possibly go poorly.
Except in
Yeah,
Conquest.
well, I mean, I guess she's sick of everyone thinking she's entirely useless.
But
So she
she's
goes to try and
entirely
be a-
useless.
Yeah, she is. She can't even do the cases herself.
Yep. Pretty much.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
most feel that only a few of them are actually good enough to exist. Like a lot of the ones in the series, like there's a couple series of cases, are literally go talk to her, go find a clue, go talk to her, done. I mean, it's great for
There was
getting it done
one.
quickly, but
Oh, there was one where it was like, go to Port Sarim, talk to this one NPC, and that was the whole thing.
yeah, that was
I have more rants about May than than praise, unfortunately. It was really cute, but some of them were just like such nothing quests.
Like,
Yeah,
Not even
they were.
quests.
You can tell there was a difference in quality. Like, there was the Rapid quest, there was the Chisel quest, there was the Turoth quest.
Those are good.
Recently,
Yeah,
there
those
was
are nice.
there was one where we have a stalker and we investigate him because he steals a diamond ring that he wants to propose to us, and that was really, really good. And then there's all sorts of other ones that are just like
Trash. They're like placeholders, and it really is like, why would you waste your time doing that?
Although I will say that I'm happy with Mega May because we got the equivalent of 4 quests that would be good for free-to-players, like Turoth quest, Rapid quest, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's the equivalent of 4 smaller quests,
they
mini
aren't
quests.
sticking around in the game, though, right?
Maybe, but probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what they said. They said they didn't intend, but maybe.
It's like a we'll see, but
Yeah.
probably not.
And then there were 2 other the series. They felt more like promotions for other things, like the Robber in the Darkness. It felt like a promo for Kindred Spirits, and the Eastern Mystery seemed like a promo for the art. And I don't think any of us really appreciated that too much.
Robber from the Darkness, though, ended up having Jack all to do with, Kindred Spirits.
it was
but we'll rant about that later.
Yeah.
Except for a whiten up costume, which was actually really funny.
Oh God. But yeah, so there's that happened in Mega May. I don't think anybody would need to say anything else about that. They also had a Duel Anywhere thing that used to.
It's not. It's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what's coming out tomorrow again?
Duel
Anywhere. So Runic, tomorrow.
Fun.
Tomorrow I am going to 1v1 you in Falador Park, and I am going to kick your ass.
1v1 me, mate.
You won't even see me coming.
Well, I think he has to be right in front of you to duel you, so I do think he will see you in advance. But yeah, you can have duels wherever you want, and staking will not be supported, so it's just for funsies. They also added boss pet overrides, which I'm sure people with boss pets found very nice.
Yeah,
I think that was the most hyped update of this month, honestly.
It actually was.
Even more than Kindred Spirits. Just because PVMers with boss pets get to run around with their boss pets all the time, as opposed to not with their boss pets, I guess.
I've been taking my pet Lana to whenever I go to a rack store, and then it just gets so confusing because I'm seeing an extra spider there. I'm like, wait, why?
Why would you do this to yourself? I mean,
I don't know. He's just so cool.
That would just trigger Walter even more.
So wait, you're saying you wanted more spiders?
He wants all the spiders.
Why?
Because I also want to trigger Kitten.
I'm indifferent to Araxor at this point.
Rip.
I just never want an excuse to go back.
Well, you'll have another solo boss to maybe fail miserably at or something.
No, if it's harder than Araxor, I'm gonna quit.
And we will talk about that in a few minutes.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
It's more like half an hour, but whatever.
Yep. But yeah, so those are things that happened. We also have the release of new invention tech trees. So there's this kind of falls into the rest of April or the rest of May, where there's a couple useful things and a lot of useless things. I don't want to sound super critical about this month because I do think that all of the updates came from the right place, like they're on the right track, but they just weren't quite there. But yeah, so the invention tech trees, they released the Goblin and the Dwarven tech trees. The Goblin tech tree includes the Bank Stander, which is probably the most popular new item. It can be made from refined junk, which is good, and an addy bar. They charge when you stand near a bank, and after 3 minutes they explode, giving you 5 sets of 25 common components, 4 sets of 1 uncommon component, and occasionally a rare component. They don't stack in the bank, though, so that's a thing.
But I mean,
Ooh.
you go through them so
Yeah.
much that they're just so fantastic that it doesn't really matter.
At
True,
least
I think
if
I
you
think
bank stack.
Jagex. Yeah, I think Jagex mentioned that they're planning to make them stack or something. It was just kind of an oversight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They also released, also in the Goblin Tree, you have the Monkey Mind Control Helmet, which lets you get a Demon Butler in monkey form, Rip Shirakis, that doesn't have to be paid, double Rip Shirakis. They will serve bananas if asked. A perfectly reasonable thing, but it's something you only ever need to do once. But that one time is still a time. They also added the Dungeoneering Party Simulator, which lets you simulate the joy of having friends. Hold on.
You can pretend you have friends.
Without
Yeah.
all of the having to care about people thing. Quote unquote Walter. It's an item that lasts for one floor, but it only really needs two. It boosts the difficulty and number of players by 1 upon the completion of the floor. So, like, if you're doing a 2-2 floor, it gives you the credit of doing a 3-3, and so on.
I've done one with I believe I did one with Jazz Band earlier, and it was pretty good. I really liked I think like this is right where invention can really shine, like these kind of things where like this is one of the best things in all of the tech trees, along with bank standards, and the old deck coil was pretty nice actually.
Yeah, the little boosty things
Yeah.
they're just like brand new things, but they make sense and they kind of go with the theme of invention. They also in the Goblin Tree have electrified box traps, which are useful for the group that doesn't have access to crystallize, but has access to invention. So all 3 people. But
Oh yeah, I accidentally made 16.
ooh, bank spaces.
Yeah, and they don't stack. So I went out and I decided, all right, I'm
Yeah.
actually going to do some Hunter. But it turns out there's this glitch where they can randomly reset their counter. So it's basically a box trap, like a
Yeah.
standard box trap. We
Nice.
reinvented the box trap, except with it has a better skin,
We did it,
but
guys.
that's about it.
We did it, Reddit.
And
Yay.
Yay!
it supposedly increases your catch rate, but I've not really noticed any real difference.
It's
So
hard to
I'm going to
notice.
say they suck.
It's hard to notice those things, like with the invisible boosts and the catch rate boosts. It's sometimes really difficult to notice, especially on small sample sizes. You also mentioned the Oldak Coil, which is a magical cannon that uses cannonballs as fuel. It'll hit small groups of enemies all at once at a medium range, and it seems to be useful for those who wish to use cannons.
It's fun to look at. I mean, it looks beautiful, and so does the kinetic dynamo. But
Apparently it caused skeleton monkeys to get nerfed and will eventually be banned from Corp.
Great.
yeah, because there was this really weird glitch where you could get like 1,000,000 XP and everything for an hour, and it was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep, sounds broken enough to be plausible.
Yeah, so then they nerfed it.
Yep.
That sounds like Jagex. The rant is coming. Prepare.
Incoming, but yeah.
Something came along with this update, and that's going to make the rant happen.
Yep, yeah, we're getting there, almost there. It's actually at the end of this next section. So in the Dwarven tech tree, which is like far inferior to the Goblin tech tree, you have the Sprinkler Mark 1, which only works for which is a farming tool that works for allotments, takes up your flower spot and keeps your allotments watered, but doesn't keep them from being diseased. So why would you use that over white lilies?
I mean, like, the biggest argument we can find there is that it's going to lead to a Gen 2 device like the Sprinkler Mark 2, which will prevent them from getting diseased. I don't know, it just feels like we could go into a new set of next-gen devices like Sprinkler Mark 2.
Yeah. I mean, the way that's named, it does suggest that there might be a Mark 2 or a Mark something higher than 1.
Yeah, like
I mean,
Mark III
eventually the sprinklers will just become hoses.
I mean, maybe. I mean, on the
Evolution
other
of
hand,
hoses.
on the other hand, oh, never mind, forget it.
Yeah, Walter says that like they could auto compost, they could become sentient, they could build Skynet, all sorts of stuff.
Mark 5 is
They
literally
can build
Skynet.
Skynet.
You get
Mark
you get,
6, but Walter, for then Mark 6 has to be the hose. Just
I
the
mean,
garden
like,
hose.
That's
you get 10K
RuneScape
experience
logic.
if you build
We
Skynet.
progress, and then we release Legacy mode. Oh, sorry. Anyways, so the Sprinkler Mark 1 is a thing. The Book Switcher is also in the Dwarven set. It's pretty much useless. It's a one-time item that lets you change your spellbook and prayers. I guess it could be maybe useful in some kind of weird niche bossing situation, but like I can't think of a time where you can't just go to Prif and change.
It's not really. Like you can only.
Oh, it's only in
switch
banks.
in a
Oh, that
bank.
makes it even more useless.
So that basically kills its only use.
Yeah, rip.
Which is it's a shame.
Yeah. And then we have probably Runic's favorite item, the Calorie Bomb. Or maybe this was Walter's favorite item.
No, this is like all of Reddit's favorite item.
Oh, it's all of Reddit's ooh, even better.
Oh yeah, the rage.
Yeah, but it has a 2-minute cooldown to use and a 1-minute cooldown to be affected. That it heals you for 120% of the food you used in it, and up to 4 people around you for 100% of its healing. Enemies in range also heal 10%, and it takes 5 food. It takes 5 food and components, and so it's just not worth it. There's also a bug on it where the enemy sometimes gets healed for 10% of their max HP instead. Have fun doing this at bosses.
Yeah, like this is the low point of the update. With it, we're pretty sure that this is what led to Barricade and.
Let's.
Oh yeah, I'll let you take over.
Go, Runic.
Let's finish the tech trees before
Runic, you're cutting out.
kinetic cyclone.
All right, let me just take care of this then. Basically, what Runic's trying to say is that what this led to was a very large nerf of an ability that he likes to use in raids a lot. Like, it was using Barricade to negate all damage and then using Heal Other to heal up your entire team. Now that we all think about this, it seems really overpowered. But the nerf hammer they hit it with was just too much. So now it's completely useless. You can't really use Barricade or Heal Other, and everyone's mad because Mod Chris L, like a year ago, said that this wouldn't be nerfed. So it's this entire situation is very questionable.
Yeah. There's much rage to be had in the chat, and on Reddit, and on the forums, and, well, pretty much anywhere you can imagine.
Mod Chris L basically designed Yakamaru around this, and now that this has been nerfed, it's basically impossible. Well, it's not impossible, it's very hard to do. Yeah. And all sorts of madness is going on with raids and everything is on fire.
I'm sure this would be a good time to have a market watch where we see prices all over the place and panic selling wands and stuff. But
don't remind me.
No, now
Is
we're
my
just
audio any better now?
Yeah, now we're just teasing Kitten about it though.
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
Runic, you may proceed with your scheduled rant.
Okay, so Lime base. By the way, tell me if I cut out. Lime basically, got over the whole heal other nerf, which is already just awful because it destroys the only mildly good healing thing we have in the game. Because let's face it, Saren spells are shit.
Rip Saren spells.
Well,
yeah, we're going on 9 months now, and they're still not good.
The combat spells are bad.
The combat spells, yeah.
The support spells are great. The combat spells, not so much.
It's just that, like, I feel like it was questionable that Chris L made a boss around a broken tactic.
No, it wasn't broken. Like, the fact that you could use barricade to stop the damage from heal other was brought up in the original EOC beta. And Chris L and them were like, yeah, no, this is totally okay. It encourages smart use of barricade.
I mean, I feel like it was just too much because you could heal up your entire team without taking any damage to yourself. And 10 seconds?
The thing was, it wasn't like there wasn't a drawback. By using barricade, you are cutting off a huge amount of potential DPS. Mm-hmm. The healers on the teams were always the people doing the lowest amount of damage.
Well, yeah, of course.
And pretty much all records have been achieved without using many heal spells. Because, again, healing does overall lengthen the kill, reduce the damage. So there was a cost to using the heals.
It makes it safer, but it makes it longer, which at the same time makes it a little bit unsafer.
I still feel like it was a bit overpowered. Maybe if barricade only reduced the damage from heal other specifically, like only reduced it but blocked all other damage, I feel like there should have been more of a drop back. But the nerf hammer they hit it with was just way too much.
So before we just keep going in, what exactly was the nerf hammer that they hit it with?
The exact nerf was that now heal other is supposed to hit you for a large amount of damage. I think it's like 75% of your HP when you use it. And that damage used to be able to be blocked with barricade. Mm-hmm. Now heal other will hit you even if you have barricade up.
It'll hit through barricade.
It'll hit through barricade, so you'll still take the damage.
So that basically killed the healer role. Also, barricade is tied to shield abilities. No.
Oh,
shield
right,
tier.
to that part.
Yeah, that's
correct?
that's true. That's a big nerf for defenders.
Yeah, defenders.
Spirit skills.
Like, if you have the choice now between a defender, a tier 90 defender, a rune kite shield, and an offhand rune weapon, you're best going with one of the rune items.
Yeah, that's not actually. That's basically it.
So basically, what happened is they made defenders useful for a month, and then they immediately nuked them into the ground.
Well, not immediately. They had a solid month.
Yeah, they had a solid
2
month. By Jagex's time, in terms of nerfs, that's a lot.
That's like light years.
Which is a unit of distance.
Yes, which is a unit of distance.
I don't care.
Shut up.
It takes time to travel, therefore it is time.
All right,
a
fine.
year.
Fine. Fair. Whatever.
I'm sorry.
I don't care if you are science majors. I really don't.
I'm so sorry.
I don't care if that triggers you. It makes me want to say it more.
You hurt me.
Rip Lime. But yeah, so that's pretty much. So that came along with the.
We'll get into the nips in a second.
Yeah, so that all came along with the rest, with the invention tech tree stuff. There's a couple more with the dwarven tech tree of this kinetic cyclone, which is a melee ranged cannon, which doesn't seem particularly useful, but maybe. They also have the Dungeoneering Lock Melter, which is also questionably useful, which allows the player to break a single door per floor per party that they don't have the requirements for.
I mean, it's not the worst thing you could bring into Daemonheim.
I guess not, but still.
I mean, the worst thing is a Leecher.
Well...
But other than that, there's not much.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
I mean... Yeah... Yeah, I guess it has some uses if you are running like a hard mode floor and there's there's a level 105 door that you want to go break down, or I don't know. Like it seems very questionably useful. Or if you're running hard mode and you're almost maxed and there's just one door, or you're woods and you don't, I mean, I can't find a single case where you wouldn't just say, "Oh well," and skip the door and move on.
It would be better if you could also bypass like a ferret door, because everyone hates ferret doors and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be.
It would be
actually be nice.
Yeah.
Somewhat more useful.
That would be the most
bypass Yeah, really just bypass like long puzzle rooms like barrels. That's arguably worse than 2 leechers, in my opinion.
Well,
barrels are
yeah,
terrible.
Barrels suck, but at the same
That
time...
is the worst thing you could bring into Daemonheim.
Yeah, well, yeah, 2 leechers, it's worse than 1. But barrels suck, but I would say ferret rooms are significantly worse. So
yeah,
all
like, it's just
ferret rooms.
invention could be something that like say you really hate something in RuneScape, you could just use invention to get around it. Like it's a workaround. It could be that.
Feels like it might be broken. It might like completely devalue other. I don't know. I hate using
But,
that
I mean,
devalue word, but that's
you do have to go like you have to go on a whole shading the yak type deal where you have to get all the components together, you have to get all the base materials together, and then you can finally have that workaround so that you don't have to do the original thing.
But yeah, I mean it's it does seem like so the problem with the lock melter is that porters and potions exist. So yeah, and you can actually make a porter pretty easily because you just you can as you're going through, you just take a little bit of time to siphon and okay, you're on your way. And okay, you can't post a record time, but if it really matters that much to you, then you don't really care. If it matters that much to you that you're posting a time that's really, really fast, then you just skip it anyway. Yeah, and you have to have at least 80 divination in order to make the melter. Yeah, so there's like...
Yeah.
There's all sorts of reasons why it's not good, and
Yeah.
there are not enough reasons for it to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... But yeah, anyways, so that's the entire Dwarven tech tree, that's the Goblin tech tree, and the other little... And then we mentioned the first part of the nerfs.
The heal.
The heal
Can I
other...
just-
Wait.
Can I say one more thing on the subject of the tech trees?
Yeah.
I did like the task system that they put in. It does give you a reason to make a lot of stuff for invention, like track down some certain components and parts and stuff like that, make a fishing urn, stuff like that.
Mhm.
It felt like you were actually doing something and getting something out of invention, just to complete more invention. I really liked it.
Yeah, that's a good way of approaching it.
It was a step up from the regular tech trees, like how they were before.
Yep. And now we pass it over to Runic for the rest of the combat nerfs that everyone's raging about.
All right, so we touched on the the barricade nerf, which only really affects people who are tanking with defenders and spirit shields, which is mostly raids, and to me seems like a kind of an excuse for them to make the turtling perk useful when it already is useful. So yeah, it just kind of, or it's a way for them to try and force tier 90 shields on people, which again are cheap enough already. I don't know. But the other nerf, and this is the one that got...
I assume those have gone up since the update, though.
I don't think so, actually.
Really?
Because, I mean, everybody does rots, at least in the PvM community, so they're in... Yeah, no, they haven't gone up at all. I'm looking at it now. Merciless is still like 1.7 mil.
Yeah, they're not expensive. They're not even Dragor expensive.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I know that
No.
not very expensive to PVMers could be 10, 15 mil. This is not expensive to almost anyone in the game.
Yeah.
This is not expensive to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind that they're cheap. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the fact that we have a cheap, affordable tier 90 shield. But anyhow, this is all besides the point. The main nerf, the star of the update,
Rip.
was the nail in the coffin for Dreadnips.
Rip nips.
So let me tell you the story of the story of Dreadnips. I think like a month ago, right after GWD2 came out, they found out that Dreadnips were allowing you to basically chain stun Vindicta for... You could just have her stunned for the whole kill.
It's
Which
like
was-
stealing creation, but on an actual boss.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So the week afterwards, they made some changes to Dreadnips, which got everyone in a rage because it looked like they nerfed them. But in reality, they only nerfed Dreadnips on Vindicta, and they low-key kind of made them a little more effective at raids. Because what was happening was Dreadnips ignored the stun immunity gap, which means that there's a gap between the amount of time you can be stunned.
Mhm.
So Dreadnoks were ignoring that, and you could just chain a stun forever. So they changed that, which is fine. That is entirely fine. But now...
I mean, people were mad, but it's fine.
People are always mad, yeah.
People were mad, but let's face it, the ability to freeze Vindicta for an entire kill is not really good.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, but the main place Dreadnips are useful is raids. Like, raids were released, and Dreadnips are suddenly the hottest item ever.
Mm-hmm.
So they changed that. They finally nerfed it. We're talking, what is this? We're talking 10 months now? They finally changed Dreadnips at raids, which is rage. First off, they made the gap between stuns on any NPC with Dreadnips is 10 seconds, which is way too long. And secondly, they made it so that Dreadnips now pay attention to stun immunity. Before, Dreadnips ignored stun immunity on really just the raid bosses and a few other bosses. Like bosses like Virago and Araxor, which were stun immune, Dreadnips wouldn't stun them, but the raids bosses, for some reason, and a few others were stunnable, even though they had quote-unquote stun immunity. Basically,
so it was a soft immunity? So like, there are ways around it. I think that's what you're trying to say here.
It was a soft immunity. It was basically made them immune to player stuns, but not to NPC stuns.
Mm-hmm.
And since there's only one NPC that stuns.
Yep.
Yeah. They changed that now. Now Dreadnips cannot do any stuns on raid bosses.
Rip Dreadnips.
Rip Dreadnips. Oh yeah, Walter mentioned the Mantis can also stun things, but anyhow.
Well, I mean, it used to. I'm sorry, now I'm just imagining like a horde of PBMers with Mantises out in raid.
Got him.
Oh god.
Oh god.
That
might actually have been a thing. I think someone tested that after the nerf. Anyhow.
Oh, rip.
To make a long story short, this really, really affects tactics and strategy at raids. Because a lot of, the way you timed your abilities tanking at raids relied on the fact that Dreadnips made Yakimaru's attack speed a whole lot slower. Which was entirely fine, because you could chain your ultimates properly on Tentacles, Tentacle Pool. You could use Debilitate to block sand or extra damage on sand, sharks. You were able to use ultimates effectively. Now you can't. Because Yakimaru just attacks way too fast. He puts his specials out way too fast. And it's kind of absurd that basically by nerfing Dreadnips, they've completely screwed over all strategies at raids. Which, I mean, you can figure it out. Raids is still possible without Dreadnips, but it makes it a whole lot harder.
And it's a lot more inefficient.
It's a lot more inefficient. But ultimately, this makes it a whole lot harder for new players trying to get into raids. It ruins all strategies that we spent 10 months building up. If they were going to nerf it, they should have nerfed it 10 months ago.
Yep.
And what was the third thing? And okay, I'll forget it. Whatever.
Yeah. Basically,
everyone is upset.
And the third thing is that it makes Dreadnips once again a dead item.
Yeah, completely useless.
Like, I mean, they do small amounts of damage now, but they're still not useful. Ultimately,
when they were first released, they used to do a very significant amount of damage, as well as all of theirs, because this was pre-EOC, but yeah, since EOC killed them, then they were kind of revived with some of these raid things, and
they were they were entirely revived with raids.
Right.
You shouldn't have been doing raids without Dreadnips.
Well, I mean, they were kind of revived. I mean, before I think at some point they buffed them, and then raids came out, and then there were the hot thing, and now they're back nerfed into the ground. Rip.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the story of Dreadnips.
That is the story of Dreadnips, and it is a lot of anger and rage and PVM elitism. which made Geena fall asleep.
I don't even know if this is like PVM elitism. This is like seriously just kind of.
It's a mess. Right here.
Yeah, a mess is a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And then I know that there was a live stream done about it, and people weren't happy about that. Like you went on to defend why it was nerfed, and that didn't go over well. It's been a mess. Like it just really has. But
yeah,
what are you gonna do? I guess.
I mean,
anyways, we need to move on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we probably should move on. I took way too long with that.
Nah, it's all good.
I mean, it's something that everyone is angry about for good reason, but. Yeah, we have to move on. We've got a ton more stuff to cover.
Yeah. Speaking of things we're angry about, we're going to move on to Kindred Spirits.
Yes, more rage.
I'm not angry.
Well, some of us are angry. So before we get going, really, I just want to get a general poll as to how you guys feel about the quest. I know that Walter thinks it's terrible. I personally am kind of on the fence. I liked parts of it. I really didn't like other parts of it, and I found some other parts just giant question mark spam. So, like, just kind of you guys say what your thoughts are briefly on the quest.
I'll go first. I absolutely hate this quest. It's actually my most hated 6th Age quest. It's taken the 6th Age to a new low for me.
Rip. Lime?
Well, I'm on the complete other side of the fence. I think I really liked this quest. I thought it was funny. I thought it had the appropriate amount of dark stuff. I think that the only 6th Age quests that did better the only 2 6th Age quests that did better were Death of Chivalry and Fate of the Gods itself.
Kitten?
Although Death of Chivalry is above that.
Yeah. Kitten?
Oh my god, Walter and I walked through this, well, because he specifically offered, do you want the good ending and the good dialogue? And we kind of just sat through and looked at all the parts where you could fail, and oh my god, I hated this quest. I am so sorry to mods that made it, that thought it was great, but oh my god, it was so bad. Like, I get the point that some of some parts were legitimately hilarious. Like, I like some of the little jokes and some of the little dialogue things, but just the infuriating amount of puzzles that made no sense, models that looked like crap, just like, just a few technical things that just kind of killed it for me.
How about the Invisi items in the? Or did they fix that?
I only heard of it. They fixed it, but oh my god, that must have been terrible.
it was amusing. Geena?
Okay, so let's start off with I'm putting the spam aside right now.
Okay.
Obviously, the spam level is way out there.
Of course.
As would be expected for a quest like this.
That was fully involving Sliske and all of the Barrows brothers. Yeah, okay. Anyways, go on.
So I will say I did enjoy playing it, but that's probably because a lot of the fake choices were like natural Geena choices.
Fair enough.
I really like some of the lore, but on the other end, I'm kind of worried as to the direction that this is going to go afterward, especially seeing how things have pretty much been flipped on us, which I'm sure we'll talk.
Yeah, I think that last bit is the important part, and I think that's why a lot of people that are lore-centric, I guess, are looking at this quest extremely questionably. And I know that's a huge thing that Walter would rant about.
For me, it's the other way. I like the lore. Like, I like the lore flip of this, because can we just go out and say the spoilers right now?
Yeah.
All right.
I expect people to have played it if they're going to be listening to this.
It puts me physically in pain to remember that cutscene. That's a first for, like, that. I would rather do one small favor twice than do this one more time.
The cutscene where Sliske was punching us?
No, the cutscene where Linza happened.
Oh, right, that one.
Oh, no.
I just want to say the cutscene where Sliske was punching us had worse choreography than Arrow Season 4.
Okay, that's a valid point.
I thought you guys were talking about the whole Sliske is not the master thing.
Oh, no, that's interesting lore-wise. I just don't get the point of making Linza the Barrow sister. Because I was super hyped for, there's a Barrow sister? What's going to happen? And then it's freaking Linza.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happens at the end of the quest, like they tacked it on just, to fulfill the promise of, we're going to do a Barrow sister.
Yeah, it was really strange.
I feel like it works better in hindsight. Like, you read all the texts, and you think about the quest, and you suddenly realize that Linza was playing you from the entire thing. And I don't like that it doesn't really give you time to think about it during the quest.
Yeah.
But when you discuss it afterwards, you start realizing, like, oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm with Lime on that one, where it isn't... The thing is, it isn't very obvious. It isn't even... It does seem when you're playing through the quest that you get to the end and you're like, wait, it's supposed to be a Barrow sister, isn't there? And then suddenly Linza, and you're like, oh, okay. But yeah, it does... As you're going through it, like, if you look back on it as you think through the way things happened, where you start at Linza, and then it's an obvious Sliske trap, and then Linza's along with you, and then it's just... It does all point to her, but in a hindsight kind of way, which I don't think is good, but it's hard to say.
I mean, what did you guys think, like, in general about that?
I still can't get over that it's Linza. I don't know why. I didn't want it to be Linza. Like, that's just... I get the point of it making sense, like, before, and when you look back on it, yes, it kind of does, but why does it have to be Linza? Why does it have to be the smithing hero?
Because they killed the other ones.
Like, why?
Because they already killed all of the other ones.
But pick another character.
Yeah,
or just make one up and make it cool.
And they couldn't make it Meg because there's Meg May still. So.
And I mean, we all know if Mod Stu had made this quest, then Meg would have been.
Yeah, it would have been Rip Meg, and that would have been payback for all those rune crafting lamps.
During the era maze puzzle, Meg would have been the only one getting burned. And no matter what choice you made, it would still have been Meg.
Yeah.
That would have actually been pretty funny.
That would have been highly amusing.
I mean, yeah. I feel like out of all of the other signature heroes, and if it had been another Barrow's brother, then the Raptor would have gotten the axe. Something like that.
Maybe. All the other ones have had stories attached to them, so I guess the Raptor was the last one remaining and would have been the one.
I mean, I get where you guys are coming from. Like,
yeah, I do too.
Lore-wise, it makes sense, but it's not good.
Yeah, So so the best way of putting it, I guess, is you can make sense out of this, and the stuff that happens points to a goal, it hits that goal, and it kind of makes sense once you get there. But getting there is a whole lot of question marks, Bam, and
it works, but it's ugly.
Yeah, and it really is ugly, and I don't like just how dark the quest got. Like I've talked about this in past podcasts. Or I like a little bit lighter, a little bit, and I mean, like the Penguin quest. Okay, that's a different kind of dark. That's a dark but funny kind of dark, and that's how the first part of this quest was. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And I was on the Citrus edition, and Lime, and we all were like, this is hilarious. I love this first part where you're doing like rocking out type of stuff and those kind of nostalgic.
Like,
I hated that.
Yeah.
It was the return of the use X on Y puzzle.
Yeah.
And I guess that's...
Of course, it was of course hard mode version of that because you couldn't see X or Y in your inventory, but NXT
Well, I mean,
bugs.
hard. Like, I just usually just click one thing on the other thing, and when it didn't work, I clicked one thing on a different thing and hoped it worked.
Yeah.
But I did.
If you aren't aware of the NXT bug that happened, so I think it was NXT. So when you're using,
you can see it on the Citrus edition.
Yeah.
The icons were gone.
Yeah, there's no icon in your inventory. So there's like 4 or 5 items, none of which showed up in your inventory unless you clicked them. And you click them, and sometimes they show up, and sometimes they don't. Or they showed up in your inventory, and then you click them, and they're gone. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's just like...
But you can hover over them. So if you have your mouse, whatever that setting is, that where you hover over something, item name shows up, then you can hover over them and see that it's there. But rip those who didn't have that. Like, what are we supposed to be doing?
Right. So that was a bit dodgy. But then you got into the whole part of the Barrow's torture segment.
Ugh. Yeah, this is the part that I could have done without.
I mean, I liked that they gave the Barrows a backstory.
Well, some of them. Some of the Barrows a backstory.
I don't think you really needed any backstory for any of the Barrows. I mean, okay, sure, they have it now, but I don't think we really needed it.
They feel like the ones that have a backstory actually feel like characters now, and so that's good.
I didn't really ever need the Barrows to feel like characters. They're, at least for me, they were just kind of these legendary figures that have now been turned into a boss.
Geena is mad.
Rip Geena.
Oh yes, I'm making Geena mad. Let's fight! Want to fight me, Geena? Let's go.
Anyways, we're not fighting.
I never thought that the Barrows needed to be made into like these fully fledged characters. I think they worked for what they were, which was just, these legendary figures.
Kind of,
as opposed to, actual characters that would influence the future Sixth Age. I mean, I guess that's what they're going to be now, based on what we see at the end of this quest, but I didn't think that was necessary. Fine, it's there. That's not really my biggest problem with the quest.
I did like the idea that some of them got backstory, and I love the idea that Varrock and Torag, they had an excellent adventure in the background. And we unfortunately didn't get to hear about it because Sliske couldn't think of any puzzles around them.
You mean Carol and Torag?
Carol, yeah. Carol and Torag.
Yeah, Varrock was the one that got ripped in half and that it was basically Saw all over again. Yeah, that was great.
I'm convinced budget happened for the last part. That's like turning into my justification for a lot of parts where things in games just crap out. You're like, oh, there's budget.
Rip budget.
It's gone.
Yeah, that might have been the case, and
yeah,
it's
unfortunate if that is the case, but.
Well, I mean, they did have to completely change directions in the middle of the quest because everyone hated the incredibly humorous version of the quest. So the middle, all right. Do you remember the box head poll that came out? Because.
No.
Oh, man, what was that?
It was a long time ago. Basically, Mod Raven and a bunch of the Dukes polled if people wanted to have a cosmetic where you have a box version of a god's head and you just run around wearing those.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And everyone hated it and voted it down.
Yeah.
And that kind of set off an alarm bell in the Dukes that pretty much went, oh, they're expecting a more serious quest here. Maybe we should do something more serious and more dark. And they kind of flipped the quest around so it was darker. And I'm convinced that might have eaten up a bit of the budget or most of the budget, which it might have been. So basically we can blame Reddit. And that's good.
God damn it, Reddit.
So yeah, that's what happened.
But still upvote our post.
I don't blame it. If the quest had been a really comedic, I think I would have hated it even more.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if it was really comedic, then it just wasn't. It needed to be some kind of level of dark and serious, but especially after the first half had very humorous elements, and then it just got totally dark.
It went from
Saw movie dark. I'm like,
it went from a 3 to an 11.
Yeah, that's the problem I have with it. It really does feel like it's two completely different quests in one, and so there's. I don't know.
Damn it, guys! You're making me hate this quest.
I'm still on the fence. I did like the first half of the quest. I really liked the first half. The dialogue was hilarious. Right. The stuff that they're doing was amusing and funny, and I did like the first half. The ending was strange, and the middle was way too dark.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It just
for me,
I didn't understand, especially the maze part of Every single, like, it wasn't just like dialogue choices. It was literally, you will get the bad ending if you fail X number of these, and there was every option to fail X number of those. Because the thing I didn't understand, which I kind of didn't bring up to Walter immediately, but it was, why do you hurt Aram like 4 times? Why do you choose the same option first 4 times? Just, I don't know. It just turned into like, yes, poke the poor whites to death for some reason, and then they'll realize whatever. But it's just, I didn't really like that.
Well, yeah, I told Aram to keep getting hit, and then at some point he was just like, nope, we're done. See ya.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's. Of course, there's also the issue in that maze how Sliske somehow found a random soul in the underworld and stole it without anyone noticing. Walter makes a good point. We're not going to... That's not explained at all, and...
I mean, I do have a mini theory that Sliske was like, oh, this might come in handy in the future, and then stole it and held on to it for thousands of years. Maybe?
Maybe I can see that. The other option is that he was waiting, because he did imprison Death in MPD, and...
Yeah.
And so maybe he could have gotten it then, but even that, it's just so out there. But yeah, I don't... And then there's weird logic flaws in the Darok part that's kind of strange, and... I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
Alright, I'm gonna... On top of all of kind of what we've said here, the main reason I hate this quest is that it forgets to actually be a quest. I mean, if you look at it, the quest really has no story. You just kind of you really just talk to Sliske at the start, go through a series of puzzles, have another kind of confrontation with him in the end, and that's it.
I can see
There's
that.
no real story.
I feel
anything.
To be honest, I'd almost... Oh, no, sorry, keep going.
All right, the quest is just kind of so devoid of any substance. I mean, it throws in a bit of arbitrary, interesting lore, a little bit of character stuff for the Barrows brothers, which I don't really care about.
Geena.
That's it. I mean, it throws in the weird twist with Linza at the end, and top that off with some horrible writing for Sliske. Like, I mean, I hate...
I don't want to say... Don't say horrible. I'd say inconsistent.
Well, Sliske's writing has always been inconsistent, ever since Ritual of the Majorat, but let's face it, at least in my mind, this was the worst I've ever seen him written at.
I mean...
I will say...
Alright, go ahead.
Well, also, just to criticize, like, the point that you made about, like, structure, I'd almost rather it be, like, oh shit, Linza's missing. What happened? And then you go through the brothers thing and Sliske thing and Dragonkin thing, and then you find out she's a white, and then you get a little bit more like emotional pushback of, well, this is weird, but okay.
Yeah,
but
I can see that.
I didn't like the like
that Linza was tagging along the entire time.
Yeah, like Meg just they're just kind of sitting by, and they're like, well, we're gonna do things now. Oh, now she's a white.
Yeah, Meg was.
I don't know.
I mean, there's no
useless.
climax to the quest even. Like, I mean, I don't need every quest to end in a boss battle, but every quest should end with some kind of like really kind of action-packed, heavy set piece of some sort. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be combat, but I mean, this just had you running through a tunnel.
Actually, fighting her would have been a little bit nice, because if she's going to be added as an addition to actual Barrows, it would have been nice to have a first fight with her.
Yeah.
Just for mechanics' sake.
I can see why they didn't, but...
Yeah, I can see why it didn't happen, but yeah.
When you think about it, this quest actually has... If you just deleted this quest, all we'd know is we'd have a few less answers about Sliske's plans, and that's it.
I mean...
That's it. There's no actual consequence to this quest in the...
Hang on.
Go, Lime.
No, that is not correct. Well, on one hand, we have weakened Sliske's control over the Barrows brothers, and we know that he is channeling his control over the artifact, and I'm like personally, I like that part because it's kind of in line with all the other mind control-y type stuff in the game. Yeah. But more importantly, I feel like this kind of we kind of got behind the veil of Sliske, and we know that there's a larger plot, and
he's not just doing things because he finds them fun.
Yeah, it's
because that's what it's looked like up until this point.
And it's kind of seemed like people have kind of been realizing this seems kind of like a sham, because like he was just described as a slippery guy since the Ritual of the Majrat, and suddenly he becomes a Joker-esque figure, and it feels like he's really just playing a role, and this kind of confirmed that. I feel like this quest was more set up, a very ugly setup, but it was set up for the future of the Sliske storyline.
Yep.
I mean, the Sliske storyline's got 2 quests left, and this is part of my problem with this quest.
The Sliske trilogy.
With 4 quests.
Quadrilogy. I can't count.
Well, I've seen trilogies with 4
missing
books.
Presumed Death.
Anyways.
I mean, if we've got a quadrilogy here of quests, we'll call it, that leading up to Sliske's Endgame, this one is like, we just kind of find out some information, but I'm saying is in terms of actual like big kind of events that are going to lead up to influencing the endgame, there's nothing really big.
Yeah, I can
about
see
this
that.
quest. And I mean, if you're trying to do a 4-parter leading up to the big endgame, each quest has to have some big monumentous shit happening in it.
The big thing that happens that's a result of this is the weakening of the control of the Barrows. So, and that is not insignificant. That
would be nice to see later.
I kind of feel that's just insignificant because I mean, the Barrows are really their importance as Sliske's puppets has, at least in my mind, has really been diluted through the 6th age with his armies and armies of whites.
But these are like the commanders of those whites. These are like the strong. They are the whites.
But then again, at the same time, the whites are all literally under Sliske's direct control, which is my thing. He doesn't need the Barrows. The Barrows are just like.
But he doesn't know that the Barrows are not under his direct control anymore. That's the important thing.
But if the Barrows were to, let's say, and I guess we're all expecting this, to betray him in Endgame, I don't think it's going to like cost him his entire army of whites.
It would really mess up his plans.
It would screw up his plans, yeah.
All right. We don't know if the rest of the army of whites can be trusted on. I don't know. In this quest.
I don't know. The rest of the army of whites, I see them as just kind of like the mindless zombies from Game of Thrones, but...
And then there's the other thing where Sliske stole part of our soul right after saying, "Oh, we're not compatible. Whatever shall I do?" And it has really interesting implications, especially since Nomad is nowhere to be found in this quest. And so whatever's going on. And
I don't know.
I feel like this quest would work better in context. That's my entire argument coming from right now. It will work better in context.
Yeah.
I think I can definitely
be a timeline. Like what is said to have already happened because of the way the requirements go. It could have been before or after any of those others.
Well, I mean, yeah, but sequentially, it does seem like it happened after Nomad's Elegy, or like, our soul will be used along with Nomad in some way.
Just because it's 6th age, it is necessarily after Nomad's Elegy because we're going in a timeline order. Unless they say otherwise, it is after Nomad's Elegy, which makes it interesting that there's something involving souls and Nomad isn't there. But
I mean, I despise this quest, but I think I'd be perfectly willing to take another look at it once the whole quadrilogy, Sliske's quadrilogy is finished. I'd be willing to take a look at it and see if anything kind of works a little better.
Yeah.
But
if it ends in like some interesting battle or something going on with like the Barrows brothers not being under full control anymore, like does that should end up being significant, because if it ends up with some ending quest where they're like, we're just not under control anymore, and they walk out and then Nomad just leaves, that will be infuriating.
I feel like the Barrows brothers are basically Sliske's trump card. Like, You saw in the Ritual of the Majrat, Sliske comes in and he's like, looking for me? And then all of his whites jump in and then start fighting. And that's like his trump card.
Yeah.
Suddenly his 1-up, you can't really rely on it anymore.
But
and
he doesn't know. But he doesn't know he can't rely on it. So he's going to use it and then going to get trumped.
And then nice choice of words.
You're gonna get stumped.
And then
well, I mean, it's a trump card. So.
And then you saw in this quest what happens when you kick the feet out from under Sliske. So I feel like this quest is going to really work together with the rest of the series very well.
Yeah.
Because we're just going to end up getting that sucker punch in with Sliske at the very end, and he's going to break down in a hissy fit.
So basically,
and we are going to laugh.
So basically what Liem is saying is that, once again, in context, when you look at the grand picture of things, this is an important quest, although it may not seem like it in a standalone sense. Which I can see that, and I can see both sides.
That too.
There is very likely a more elegant way this quest could have happened.
Yeah,
but it will. I have faith. I have faith that it will work better in retroactively.
Yeah, and I want to say before we move on that we're not talking crap about the quest just to talk crap about the quest. We're not doing it just to be like, oh, we hate Raven or whatever. No, we think Raven's great, but this one just missed something for at least some of us. And
the Raven Sworn dialogue was actually pretty cool. Like some of the actual, you could tell it was Raven writing was actually quite nice. It's just like the structure was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even if this quest ends up being incredibly important in the grand scheme of the Sliske's quadrilogy, as a self-contained quest, it's not that just as a quest itself.
It does somewhat fail in that.
Yeah.
However much Zhaotak there is.
Yeah, and I think that's overall what my biggest problem is
Zhaotak?
Not Zhaotak. Is that a quest as a structurally sound quest that just I want all my quests to be like that before I can influence the lore of RS.
And then in other places it felt like it served other quests. Like it had the Zhaotak dialogue, it had ancient Sentistan stuff, it had talking about how souls work from some guy on Terragard. It felt like every part of the quest was doing service for some other quest storyline, and not this one.
Yeah. And, that is probably the biggest crime this quest commits, in my opinion.
There was not enough of this quest. There was more of other quests in this quest, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Definitely agree on that.
All right, Geena, go.
Geena, go.
Okay. So, this whole thing about apparently his soul compatibility or whatever, so he could steal it for who knows what. I mean, this entire thing left me pretty much spamming question marks for the main reason that all of the stuff in the past has been the whole, he wants the player to be his friend, he's not going to kill them, he's not going to turn them undead. And just this is what I was talking about when I said stuff got flipped on me. This is the major point that just got me really confused. And with all that saying, it's have they completely turned the character around to say, no, we just saw you as a pawn in the game the whole time?
Yeah.
This is really what kills me.
Yeah, this and what Gina's referring to is where he pretty much snaps at you and then tries to kill you and then tries to eat your soul, and it's like, what? Yeah, it doesn't make sense, and that's that was definitely part of the question mark spam that I think anybody who's really paid attention to lore is like, what? But
yeah, I didn't quite understand the direct attempt to kill the player by Sliske. That I just thought was kind of weird. He had every other opportunity, but still, it's yes, we did kind of hit a nerve with that, but I don't understand. If he wants us dead, what's the point?
Yeah.
It feels like he did make a comment about, you'll just come back in Lumbridge. And
Oh, yeah. Well,
I feel like, I don't feel like he was actually trying to kill us. He was just trying to maim us completely. He just got mad. He had a hissy fit, which is kind of... Yeah.
I said even before that, there was still the soul thing, because it was looking through your soul that he found out that you had gone through the stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, he was mad that we kind of went behind the scenes there, and we weren't playing his game, and we weren't going along with his plan. And that's why he got mad in the first place, and then it was just another thing on top. So he got mad, and that's what happened.
Yeah, then there's the problem of respawning isn't supposed to
Yeah.
be canon, because that actually breaks all of the game logic of death being important. And now it's suddenly pseudo-canon?
There was the kind of canon of death just kind of brings us back every time because we're still kind of important. And none of our deaths really matter because we're always just going to come back until it's actually our time.
I'll be honest. I don't like the idea of even canonizing respawns. I think it's best to just kind of leave it as a game mechanic and never address it in the lore. But
unless you're
whatever.
Iron Man, in which case then it is actually not even a game mechanic.
It is the end.
Yep.
And that is it.
But yeah, anyway, go on. Unless you're done. I guess you're done.
I am done.
I was talking about Runic, because I cut him off.
Oh no, I'm done. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, but yeah, I mean that's
right.
another small issue here, but I think it's a fairly minor issue in the grand scheme of things. We should, before we move on to talking about the BTS, which we need to do very shortly, there are some. We mentioned about his master plans, and there's 4 relatively interesting lore books that you get from that back passage, and as well as a cutscene that is interesting. One thing that everybody immediately thought of in Death at Sea, which is the first of his lore books, I believe, was the reference to Zautak. So.
It wasn't the first, but it was non-linear. You could just get them in any order.
Well, there's one that says it's like Sliske's something part 1 and Sliske's number 2 or Sliske's something.
Oh no. Yeah, it's just they said them like.
The order you found them.
For me, my first one was the Terra Guardian one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like. You have found Sliske's Ramblings 1 of 5, and that's how it worked. So there's no real first one.
Oh well, okay. I thought that the book's names in your inventory were actually were ordered 1 through 5, but I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, Death at Sea brings in Zautak and has a very similar dialogue to what the hidden dialogue in. I can never remember the name of the quest.
Nomad's Elegy.
Nomad's
It's
Elegy.
the Cave Goblin.
That one, yeah. I'm like, it's not... Yeah. Where the Cave Goblin has that reference to Zautak, and then this book has basically the same reference to Zautak. Do you really think you can save them, player name? You can't. The spiral of time leads only to the gaping maw of eternity, and this is Zautak. So this makes everyone think, and then for the rest of this, it's like, oh my god, Sliske's working to Zautak, which is apparently confirmed to not be the case by Maud Wilson.
It is not the case. I will get you that screenshot.
Who is I guess, do we want to call it the...
Zautak is...
founder of the Zautak whatever?
He is the Zautak guy. It's because Zautak is part of the pirates, because he is Cthulhu. So yeah, it's basically he is the father of Zautak.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I do like how slowly they're hyping Zautak up. I'm bracing myself for a really anticlimactic thing with Zautak, but I do like how they're hyping him up really nicely.
Yep. You also in the lore. You also had the boar was mentioned, so that's some nice other stuff about some of the.
From what was it? Broken Home.
From Broken Home.
He's back from Broken Home.
Well, he's locked up in the Broken Home, but yeah.
Well, he's still equally dead, but you get to hear from him again.
Yeah. Equally dead. Yeah, pretty much. You also
He's about as dead as he can get.
Sliske talking about killing Guthics, so that's interesting. Also, Rip Thorla. That book also set the timeline basically for.
It said that it actually made time move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Although I looked at the days, and Sliske can't use a calendar.
Rip.
It's very well known that Sliske is actually horrible with numbers of any type.
This is fine.
They've tied the progression of the 6th stage to real time, which I guess is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're now in like year 4.
Yep. And then there's also the Terra Guardian thing, the Terra Guardian book that talks about souls and.
It talks about how souls work biologically, and it also has a mention of the schism, which is very important, and we don't know much about it because we've never seen it.
Yep. What they mention about it is that the schism has more difficulty snapping stronger souls free from their current host. The schism is the source of power on Terragard, but before this we had no information on it having been involved with anything to do with the soul. And the only time we've heard about it was another Raven quest, which was One of a Kind. And it was in the book about Robert the Strong, because Robert the Strong was stupid enough to go near the schism, falls through it, and ends up on Gilnor somehow. Rip.
Because he's thinking with portals.
As he should be. Maybe it doubles as their version of death. Maybe. That's Terragard's version of death. I mean, again, we don't know very much about the schism, so we know basically nothing about the schism. We now know that it has something to do with souls. But that's
it's on Terragard, and we want to go there someday.
Yeah, someday. Rite of passage soon.
Yeah, right. Well, hopefully sooner than that, but yeah, essentially.
AK never. But yeah. So there's that stuff. We have. Is there anything else we want to talk about lore-wise, mechanics-wise, rant-wise? Really anything else in the quest that we have to cover?
Sliske, should we go over the cutscene with Sliske's master?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I briefly touched on it, but yeah, go for it.
Sliske talks to a disembodied orange voice. And it's not Zautak.
Oh, it's orange?
It was yellow.
No, it was
yellow
orange.
though. What?
Was it yellow? Can I see?
Well, it wasn't like bright yellow. It was like goldenrod.
Goldenrod.
Well,
Is that a color anymore? That was a crayon color.
It's a color now.
Maybe.
It's the name of a city in Pokemon.
Okay.
I mean that's a thing, right? Anyways, go on.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Yep, go on.
It's not Zautak. And the popular theories right now are it's Zeros, because of course it is. And
it's always Zeros. Just because Lime doesn't want it to be Zeros, it is always Zeros.
I would facepalm so hard that I could scratch the back of my head. And then there's also it's the Elder Gods, because of course it is. And I buy that logic even less, because it would be really lame, in my opinion. But that never stopped anyone.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either.
I think it's a different player, like it's someone else. I hope it's the Queen of Ashes, because just to get her name in there. But really, we have no idea who his master is, and I'm pretty sure that will be revealed in Sliske's Endgame.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so that is a thing as well.
But we do know that voice was able to find the Stone of Jess somehow, and it told Sliske for some reason that we don't know.
I have only like one. I'm pretty sure that said sixth. Well, no, sorry. Said Sliske's master is the sixth elder god that Zaros mentioned all the way back in the Light Within.
You mean Azanadra mentioned in the Heart of Stone?
Wait,
Well, it was post-quest dialogue for Heart of Stone that there was some weird other option for why there's another mouthpiece in Lumbridge. And then he says, no, that theory is just too terrible to note. And that, of course, means it's right. So, yeah, both of these were Raven quests. So Raven is...
The Light Within especially, 6 of... Zaros, like 6 of them. 5 of form and 1 of something else. The Elder Gods. So I have a feeling that it is that something else. Insert to your
Elder God-ish thing.
I have a feeling that that's all it can be because A, these are all Raven quests we're talking here, and they're not setting that up for nothing.
Yeah.
And now that we have this new mysterious character introduced, this is kind of like the top option we have here.
Yes.
Yeah, it is interesting. Alright, but anyways, I do think we need to move on. This is going to be a longer podcast, so...
Oh, yeah.
This is what happens when you don't have one for a month. Thanks, exams.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we're going to move on, unless somebody has anything else they really don't need to say about Kindred Spirits, or May.
Are we going
to... If sorry.
You go first, Kitten.
Okay, if the camera's top-down, cap your models, please. Please. And just... there's a really bad screenshot I was really mad over when I sent stuff to Walter. I'll find it.
Okay,
Just go carry on.
Do we want to mention the new Barrow sister as a boss herself or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go through that really quickly. So now,
It still doesn't make sense.
Well, yes, but spoiler alert: Linza is now a Barrow's brother.
Sister thing.
Well, they did
Barrow's
say brother,
sibling.
in the sense of the Barrows is a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Regardless of actual gender.
Yeah. Okay, she's bunking with Aram currently in the minigame, but she has 150k HP.
Did she get cake-faced?
Yeah, she has more than, I think it's more than 12 times the HP of the other Barrows brothers. She uses a hammer and a shield. Her set is tier 80, which gives us now a one-handed tier 80 crushing weapon, which is okay, nice, I guess. We have a tier 80 melee shield, which, I mean, we already had. And we now, for the first time ever, have tier 80 melee tank armor.
Whoa.
Which is just interesting. Her set effect, like all other Barrow set effects, is terrible. It's useless. You're much better off using a defender or something. Yeah. And Barrow Sandals don't work on her. That's about it, really.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about her is that she has a nice title. Linza the Disgraced.
Yeah,
That's actually the coolest thing.
She is too tough. Like, she makes Acrosay look good in comparison.
Well, she's not actually that tough. Like, for her 150k HP, she doesn't hit any harder than any of the other Barrows brothers.
So they probably cake-faced her.
Accurately. Yep.
Rip.
She just is too much of a damage soak.
Alright, but yeah, so that should cover everything from the quest, and then they had the various rewards and stuff. And was there much post-quest dialogue?
No, there was no post-quest dialogue at all.
No, that is still wrong. They did put this guy named Janus, who was in another event, in the Empyrean Citadel. And he says that you may have defeated Sliske this time, but he will be there when Sliske wins in the end, and he will laugh at us when we are crushed. Or something along those lines. And he is probably the best character in the quest, even though he's not in the quest.
Even though he's not in the quest.
Because he is a mask with a guy. And when you examine him, it says that his eyes are just, they're confused and wild, and they don't really focus. So it makes you think that the mask's talking. Mm-hmm. And his name is Janus, so, two faces. One is the mask, one is the dude. Yep. It's just like, that character is so perfect.
Yep. Alright, well, then that covers everything we want to mention about Kindred Spirits. We will move on now into the June BTS, which features Gower Quest pretty prominently. So, the Gower brothers, have taken up residence as Cabbage Mancers, and will need your help because their beloved cabbage patch has stopped working. I swear to God, freaking cabbages.
I'm really excited for this quest because it looks hilarious.
An amulet of cabbage speak, and the need to give cabbages party hats are both confirmed.
Yep.
Tim and Crunchy will be in the quest in some way. Who are Tim and Crunchy again?
Do you remember way back when the loading screen had the skeleton and this guy in armor? The guy in armor is Tim, the skeleton is Crunchy.
Gotcha.
They're returning.
Okay. This is fine. They seem to own the South Falador farm, which makes them like the third group to do so. The real quest is to determine who actually owns that farm.
Exactly. Because, like, you've got Eli Bacon, who definitely shouldn't own that farm. The Gower brothers. And who was the other guy?
I don't remember.
There was a dog in there. The dog should own the farm.
The dog should own it.
I've been saying that for years.
I mean,
that dog doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, of all the characters that have come and gone and stuff, that dog is always there. Or the cow. One of the two. But either way, it's a low requirement quest, free to play, looks highly amusing, has a nostalgia element to it just because it's a Gower quest, and
also cabbages.
And plenty of cabbages. It looks like it hits on the kind of old school humor of RuneScape. I don't mean old school as in like old school RuneScape. I mean old school
OSRS, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, let's face it, it's incredibly funny to laugh at the old school community.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is, but this isn't. I don't mean old school as in like them. I mean old school like what the kind of humor that the game was founded on. So it seems like it has a lot of that kind of stuff to it, which looks to be very interesting. Do we know when
It'll be fun.
Do we know when that's coming out yet, or is there no date to it yet? Probably.
It's coming out in June.
Well, okay. Thanks, Lime. Thanks.
I mean,
it'll probably be middle of June, end of June, because that's usually when it seems like the quests come out. There is also a boss. It is.
Because of course there is.
Okay, of course there is.
Yeah.
It is
Yay, bosses!
Tellus, not to be confused with the Talos principle.
Or Telus the phone company.
Or that.
Talos the god.
But yeah, so the boss's name is Tellus, Telos.
We also forgot Skyrim Talos.
Telos.
It's Tellus.
They pronounced it Tellus in the live stream or something like that.
Oh.
So
that's disappointing.
It looks like Telos to me, but
yeah, not to be confused with the character from DC Comics Convergence.
Yeah,
or the Skyrim god,
or all of the other random things named Tellus.
Because this is a very common name.
Yeah,
for some reason,
for whatever reason. But yeah, due to the ballad, God Wars Dungeon 2, the perfect defense, quote unquote, has awoken.
Again.
They're an anima knight in a 4-part boss fight, cue Lime Rage, that will literally pick you up and throw you to the next platform. Obviously, each platform will get more complicated.
Because
that's how we make bosses. We just give them an infinite number of stages.
I was happy with God Wars Dungeon 2, and then they had to do this.
God damn it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of saw this coming, that they'd want to put a God Wars 2 version of Nex in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's a God Wars version it's a solo God Wars 2 version of Nex.
And then there's the lore behind it, which just makes me even more mad, and like, oh my god.
What is the lore behind it?
That it is the perfect defense for the God Wars Dungeon 2, instead of including Tumikin in any way.
Well, okay.
They just copy and pasted the lore from other places.
Pretty much just means Lime is salty about no Tumikin lore.
I'm just salty in general.
That's fair. But yeah, tell us.
It felt like they could have done something great, and instead they just copy and pasted it from somewhere else, and that just makes me sad.
Ooh.
So, missed opportunities.
Yeah, but Tellus has a rage that could make it the hardest boss in the game, but you'll be able to choose the difficulty of it, at least to a certain degree. The lowest level version should be easier than something like Araxor, so the very fact that they're comparing the lowest level version to Araxor means we're all screwed.
It means all of you are screwed, but I'll do it in 2 days with no food.
Yeah, okay, fine. Go do your PVM things.
Does it have a duo option?
And the type of gear you get from God Wars Dungeon 2 should be more than enough to take the weakest version down. They say that now.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
What did they say for, like, Arax? Where they're like, at least have, like, tier 80, and then it sucks.
Yeah.
People still did it, but it sucked.
Yeah.
I almost did it with help. Almost,
Yeah.
but I still died like 7 times.
I almost did it, like, first try, no experience, the wrong combat style, and then I was pissed when I died, and then I just dropped it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I said, I noped out.
Nope. I haven't ever tried it. I don't intend to try it anytime soon.
I'm my only food for this entire boss will be Walter and Kitten's tears.
I mean, I'll still find a way to get comp back.
Sometime eventually.
I'll still find a way to do it.
Do you have 120 invention yet?
No, I almost have 90, but...
Okay, fair.
Eh.
Oh damn, you're almost beating me. I need to get back to doing invention.
Oh, wait.
This is like a
How
three-way
far?
tie at the top of the Seercast invention standings, since this is super relevant.
Yeah, it's like Runic is at 90, I'm at 89, and now I'm scared that Kitten is at 89.
And
Yeah,
then
but
Walter's
89.
above, and
What?
Walter's at like 90-something, right?
I have to do, like, I have to disassemble one more thing, and I have 90.
Yeah, Walter's
So, like,
you're
two,
ahead of
in, like, 2 hours.
Yeah,
Not like an hour.
I have to siphon like one thing, and I'm at 91.
No! I'm losing.
Get on it, Lime.
This is between me and Kitten for 99.
Actually, Walter's gonna beat all of you, but, you know.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm sitting here at level 40. Got
Nice.
him.
I found a semi-quick-ish method,
You
so...
can't even
Alright,
do
wait,
hand cannons
let's
yet.
And
get
then
back to
Geena,
Telos.
who is like no levels. But
Back
yeah,
to Telos.
but as you up the difficulty, you increase the chance of getting good loot, which is good. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Top tier loot includes 3 new high level weapons and a new ability. The ability will be tradable like the raid's abilities. A Saren bow is confirmed as one of the items. The other 3 are themed around Zeros, Zamorak, and Sliske.
Yeah, looking at that Saren bow concept art, it looks like a shield bow to me.
Could
Which
be.
is
So-
good. I am a supporter of shield bows.
Do we have?
Yeah.
We do have two-handed weapons for
Tier 90?
tier 90.
Yeah, it's the nauseous stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nauseous.
Nauseous.
We
Makes
don't.
me nauseous to think about them.
Oh,
Ah.
we're terrible.
Now we have
anyways.
a yak one, it makes me throw up more.
Oh my god. But yeah. Anyways. So yeah, I guess we'll just see what those are. Because there's 4 of them. There's obviously not like, well, we have 1 magic, 1 range, 1 melee, blah blah blah. But there's 4
Well, I
of
mean,
them,
like,
so.
no. One of them's an ability. So,
Yeah.
Oh, what
one's
is the-
magic, one's ranged, one's... Yeah,
Oh, so it is. Whatever.
probably.
Yeah, I'm
but I
guessing
am-
the Sliske one will be the ability.
Yeah,
I
that's
could see that.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that I do like that they are giving abilities as a boss loot,
Yeah.
because that is criminally underdone.
And it's great
Yeah.
because it's consumable as well, so the price will always be high, assuming that the ability doesn't suck. So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, you look at the Mazcab codexes. I mean, sure, those are pretty common drops, all things considered. They're like 1 out of 25, I think, or 1 out of 50. But either way, the abilities from them are really, really good, but they're not that expensive. Like, I think the codexes are like 15 mil now.
Not that expensive.
Yeah.
They're 15 mil.
Yeah, I mean, well, for
Well,
top
yeah.
end boss drops, you don't expect them to be 15 mil.
Well,
Compared
yeah.
to, like, what they were, like, day of release.
Correct.
Actually, slightly after that, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, considering they held at 30 for like months and months and months, yeah. Anyhow,
So, yeah.
moving on.
Yeah, but moving on. So aside from that, we also have the last thing from June is that they're allowing tier 90 and other degrade to dust items be augmentable. So like Serenic stuff and what's
Also
the other
defenders,
stuff?
which is
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
defenders too.
which I kind of want to see how it works because I think there's going to be
Yes, let's all just put turtling perk on defenders.
like
Woo!
how is that going to work? Are they going to have shield stuff or are they going to have weapon stuff or like what?
Are they still
No, they'll
going to
have-
be outclassed by tier 45 rune armor? Tier 40?
No, they'll
50
have
rune
tool
armor? Oh
gizmos.
jeez. No please.
Get like efficiency 2, furnace 1.
Got him.
I wouldn't be against that because then you could have it with a hatchet and then you could have a defender while you're with that.
Poking trees 2016.
Got
I
him.
mean, I wouldn't be for it, but I wouldn't be against it because like
Clearly
they
we
have
need offhand tools. We need an
Suddenly
offhand
they have-
hatchet.
a really
We need-
really niche use.
We need dual hatchets.
So
Just
we
in
can
case,
chop
like,
trees
you're-
twice as fast, but
So we
twice
get
as
better
inefficiently.
animations.
Just in case
Yes,
you're like
exactly.
fighting an ent or something like
In case we're fighting an ent.
like
oh,
Quirkus.
jeez.
Quirkus goes
It's-
mad
it's-
and
it's
goes
the-
on.
Sorry, keep going.
Quirkus goes mad and he goes on like a massacre of Prifddinas and everyone in
That's
Prifddinas
not
dies.
Quirkus is the guy at the GE. You're talking about Coden.
Coden,
He's- Yeah,
God damn
Well,
it,
he's
Lime.
just-
Get
he's
your
just the wandering-
ents
he's the-
right.
that's what the Wandering World boss is gonna be. It's just Coden and Quirkus just tearing up everything.
Got
and
him.
that's why we're gonna need tool gizmos on defenders.
Yes, there's our
Oh my
there's our
God.
terrible development conversation and justification for putting the wrong thing on the wrong items.
This is almost
nerf
as silly
makes
as our
perfect
sewing
sense now.
machine conversation. That did not get into another Seercast. Rip that episode.
The nerf makes perfect sense now.
It makes
Now it makes sense. They've been degraded to tools.
Rip. But yeah, so I think that covers everything we wanted to mention today.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Yeah. We are going to probably be doing the next one actually
Soon.
very soon-ish, probably, talking about this summit thing that happened.
Yes.
But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Follow us on Twitter at Seercast. Go check out our blog, seercast.wordpress.com. Also, we are finally on iTunes, so go subscribe to us there if you so choose. I'll continue to be putting up the YouTube videos, YouTube versions of this as well. And yeah, I think that covers everything. So thanks to everyone for watching/listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Uh,